Imagine this. You're scrolling online. You see a headline that completely contradicts what you believe. Instantly, your stomach tightens a little. You feel annoyed, maybe defensive. Maybe you even close the tab before reading it. That tiny emotional jolt right there, that's the beginning of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental tension we feel when our beliefs, actions, or self-image collide with each other. The mind hates contradictions. It wants things to line up perfectly. When they don't, we feel uncomfortable, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in barely noticeable ones. But that discomfort pushes us to do something, to fix the conflict, to make the world inside our head feel consistent again. So, let's break it down. What exactly is happening when we feel cognitive dissonance? The idea comes from psychologist Leon Festinger back in the 1950s. He realized that humans aren't just rational thinkers. We're rationalizing thinkers. We constantly shape our beliefs to protect our identity, our choices, and our sense of being a good, consistent person. When something threatens that internal story, the brain reacts like it's hit an alarm bell, and it will do almost anything to shut that alarm off. Take a simple example. You tell yourself you want to eat healthy. You believe it. You mean it. Then one night, you demolish an entire box of cookies. Immediately, the conflict hits. I want to be healthy, but I just did that. To calm the dissonance, your brain starts negotiating. It was a long day. I deserve a treat. I'll start fresh tomorrow. Notice what just happened. Instead of changing your behavior, you change the story around your behavior. Sometimes we change the story. Sometimes we change the belief. Sometimes we change the behavior itself. All because that inner discomfort pushes us to restore balance. This plays out everywhere. Let's go into the everyday moments first, the ones we rarely notice. A friend recommends a movie. You watch it. You hate it. But when they ask what you thought, you say, "Yeah, it was interesting." Why? Because you don't want the conflict of "I didn't enjoy the movie" colliding with "I want to avoid an awkward conversation." So you smooth it over. Or think about buyer's remorse. You spend a lot on a new phone. At first you're excited. Then a tiny voice creeps in. Was this really worth it? That's dissonance. To kill it, you look up good reviews. You convince yourself your old phone was slowing down. You highlight every tiny improvement. Your brain is doing PR work for your own decisions. Relationships? Dissonance is everywhere there too. Imagine someone you care about does something hurtful. Part of you thinks, this isn't okay. Another part thinks, but they're a good person. Those two beliefs can't sit together comfortably. So the mind picks a side. Maybe you downplay what happened. Maybe you justify it. Maybe you blame yourself. It's not because you're weak or irrational. It's because your brain is protecting the story. My relationship makes sense. And politics. This is where cognitive dissonance hits maximum power. When people strongly identify with a political group, their beliefs link to their sense of who they are. So, when new information threatens that identity, the mind reacts as if it's a personal attack. Instead of, maybe this new fact is worth considering, the reaction becomes, that can't be true, or this source is biased. Not because the evidence is bad, but because accepting it would shatter the internal narrative. Dissonance doesn't care about facts. It cares about psychological survival. And it gets even stronger in the age of social media. Well, every post, every headline, every comment thread has the potential to trigger that microdose of discomfort. But algorithms feed us content that reinforces what we already believe, reducing dissonance and locking us deeper into our viewpoints. It feels comfortable. But comfort isn't always truth. Let's go back to the science for a moment. Leon Festinger's classic study looks simple, but reveals a lot about human behavior. Participants did a boring task, extremely boring. Then they were paid either $1 or $20 to tell the next person that the task was fun. Here's the twist. The people paid $1 ended up convincing themselves that the task was actually enjoyable, far more than the people paid $20. Why? Because $1 wasn't enough of a justification to lie. So their mind had to ease the discomfort by altering the belief itself. I guess it wasn't that bad. That's cognitive dissonance in action. But why does our brain hate conflict so much? It's simple. A consistent mind feels safe. A contradictory mind feels threatened. From an evolutionary perspective, clear beliefs and stable identities help us make faster decisions, avoid danger, and fit into groups. But when we hold two opposing beliefs, the system glitches. It drains mental energy. It feels like the world stops making sense. So the brain tries to repair the glitch as quickly as possible. Now, here's the part that really matters today. Cognitive dissonance shapes almost everything we do. What we buy, who we trust, what we click, what we avoid, how we justify our choices, and how we defend our beliefs, even if those beliefs are outdated or wrong. It affects how people react to news, how they defend their identities online, how they respond to being proven wrong, and how they make choices that aren't always in their best interest, just because changing course feels too uncomfortable. But here's the good news. Once you understand cognitive dissonance, you can actually use it, not to manipulate yourself, but to understand yourself. You can notice the discomfort instead of running from it. You can ask, what exactly is clashing here? Is it my belief? My action? My self-image? What am I trying to protect? That moment of awareness is powerful, because once you see the pattern, you're no longer trapped inside it. You can make choices based on clarity instead of emotional pressure. You can change your behavior instead of changing your story. And you can update your beliefs without feeling like you're losing who you are. So here's the takeaway. Cognitive dissonance isn't a flaw. It's a signal. A spotlight shining on the places where your internal world is evolving. It shows you where the old story no longer fits the new reality. The discomfort is not the enemy, it's the invitation. To grow, to question, to realign your actions with what you actually believe. And once you understand that, contradictions stop being threats and start becoming opportunities.